Recording in progress.
My name is Mary Skeens, and I would like to welcome you to the December 15th meeting of the Greensboro Planning and Zoning meeting. If the other commissioners would introduce themselves, starting at my right, please.
Stu Nichols. Keith Peterson.
Catherine Maggot.
Warshay Downing.
Erica Glass.
Paul G. Gilmore Sr.
Ted Oliver.
And we have one commissioner online. And we need a mic on, Betty.
Betty Turner.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, please note that this meeting is being conducted in person and online. And if anyone participating online needs help with Zoom, please email Luke Carter at lucas.carter@greensboro-nc.gov. Members of this commission are appointed by the City Council, and we serve without pay. The commission reviews all original zoning and annexation cases and rezoning requests for the City of Greensboro, and each commissioner normally visits each site prior to this meeting. The procedure used for all of our public hearings are as follows. The planning staff will present background information and make their recommendation. The applicant will then be given an opportunity to present a short summary on how he or she communicated with the neighborhood and why the request is reasonable. Other persons in favor of the request may speak for a total of 10 minutes, and this time is shared with the applicant. Speakers opposed to the request will share 10 minutes of speaking time. Then those in favor of the request will share 5 minutes of rebuttal time, and those in opposition to the request will then have 5 minutes of their rebuttal time. We've got some modifications and other issues tonight on non-zoning related items, and that will be 3 minutes of speaking time on those. At the end of the speaking time, we will close the public hearing. Any commission member may ask questions once a presenter has completed their presentation, and all commissioners are required to vote unless they have a conflict of interest. In an effort to run the meeting more efficiently, the commission may reorganize the meeting agenda. Cases in which there is no opposition, either expressed to the planning department or in which no speakers have signed up to speak in opposition, and which commissioners don't feel necessitates an in-depth discussion, those items will be moved to the top of the agenda. Staff will provide a shortened presentation for those expedited cases, and applicants, if desired, will have 2 minutes to address the commission to provide any additional information they want the commission to know. Expedited cases will then follow the procedures outlined previously. When speaking here tonight, please direct all questions and comments to the Planning and Zoning Commission, not to the staff. The commission can confer with staff and to comment on any questions that are asked. When a case is called that you're interested in, please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. If you are participating online, please find and use the raise hand function under the reaction button. You will be called upon to speak in the order in which the hands were raised. All approved or denied cases receiving 6 or more votes will constitute final action unless an appeal is submitted in writing to the planning department and an appeal fee is paid within 10 days. All cases receiving a majority of favorable votes but less than 6 will be subject to a public hearing by the City Council. All cases involving an annexation are also subject to final approval by the City Council. Participants in the Zoom meeting will be able to view the meeting and speak when they're called upon. This meeting is being recorded and televised on Greensboro Television Network. And in addition, the telecast is being closed captioned for the hearing impaired. And that will necessitate a break at 7:30 when we need to give the closed captioning person a break. Now we need to hear from our attorney regarding any additional items we need to consider.
Thank you, Chair Skeens. Good evening, everyone.
Tonight, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hear a number of rezoning applications. We'll consider a number of rezoning applications. When the Commission considers these rezoning applications, its determinations are based on the land uses that are allowed under the zoning district put forth in the application and any conditions that have been proposed by the applicant. Now, land use impacts on public infrastructure are relevant in rezoning matters, but it's important to know that the Commission is not here to decide and determine all details of a development. That's a process that involves staff input and evaluation that goes beyond the scope of the Commission's work. If a rezoning would generate a certain amount of traffic flow, the Commissioners will have been provided a summary traffic impact study. Meanwhile, many site-specific development features, such as the means of stormwater management, are evaluated through the Technical Review Committee rather than here in this forum. Lastly, concerns that are not related to land use are not germane to the Commission's consideration of rezoning applications. For example, generalized concerns about crime rates and questions of who may own or live at or use a property are not for the Commission's consideration. If there are questions about matters that are not addressed squarely here this evening, those can be referred to the Planning Department or City Technical staff as appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you for that insight. In looking over the agenda and looking at the folks that have signed up to speak, it appears that we have a number of expedited cases. I'm going to read those case numbers and addresses. So if you are here to speak in opposition to any of these cases that I'm going to read out, please let us know so we can put you on the regular agenda. Otherwise, these cases will be expedited. That's Z25-12-001, which is 2204, 2206, and 2214 Spring Garden Street. Followed by Z25-12-003, which is 2011 South Holden Road and 2012 Cedar Fort Drive. Then we have a portion of 1169 Pleasant Ridge Road. That's Z25-12-004. That's an annexation and a rezoning. Then we have Z25-12-006, which is a portion of 5440 and all of 5446 Millstream Road. We have an annexation, we have a annexation and a rezoning for 4452 McConnell Road. We have an annexation and a zoning for 3005, 3015, and 3025 Glass Road. This is for the city of Greensboro. Z25-12-012, which is 600 Brigham Road. And then we have some text amendments and some modifications and a street closure. None of those are being opposed. So what I read out, those cases are going to be expedited unless there's someone that wants to speak against any of those cases that I read out. If not, we will proceed with the expedited agenda, which will start out with the Spring Garden, 2204.
Madam Chair, can we get the approval of the minutes
Yes, we
first?
do. I'm sorry. I'm moving right along. We have minutes from the November 17th meeting. Well, acknowledge of absences. Please note that Betty Turner is participating online, as you saw earlier. Then we have minutes from the November 17th, 2025 meeting. Do I hear a motion on those?
Commissioner Keith Peace, I make a motion we approve November 17th meeting minutes.
Stu Nichols, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do we have any withdrawals or continuances?
We do not.
Very good. Now we will proceed to 2204 to 2206 and 2214 Spring Garden Street. This is a rezoning request from CDRM 26, Conditional District Residential Multifamily 26, to CDCN, Conditional District Commercial Neighborhood, for the properties identified as 2204 to 2206 and 2214 Spring Garden Street, generally described as west of North Spring Garden Street and west of north, that doesn't make any sense.
It's
And-
north of Spring Garden Street. Sorry
North
about
of
that.
Spring Garden Street and west of South Elam Avenue, 1.3 acres.
Thank you, Chair Skanes. This is the zoning map of the area, showing that the subject properties contain approximately 1.3 acres and are located north of Spring Garden Street and west of South Elam Avenue. As you stated, this is a rezoning request from CDRM 26, Conditional District Residential Multifamily 26, to CDCN, Conditional District Commercial Neighborhood. North of the request is Zone R5, Residential Single Family 5, and RM 18, Residential Multifamily 18. East of the request is Zone RM 18, and south of the request is Zone RM 18 and PUD, Planned Unit Development. West of the request is Zone RM 18. The aerial map shows that the subject properties currently contain undeveloped land. North of the request contains single-family dwellings. East of the request contains single and multifamily dwellings. South and west of the request contain multifamily dwellings. These are the conditions that were proposed by the applicant and advertised associated with the request. And in recommending approval of the request, staff know that the GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan's future built form map currently designates these properties as urban central within an urban mixed-use corridor, and the comprehensive plan shows the properties as being within the Lindley Park Neighborhood Plan. The Lindley Park Neighborhood Plan designates these properties as single-family and multifamily on its future land use map. The proposed rezoning request supports the GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan's filling in our framework goal to maintain, inventory, and market key underutilized sites and structures to private industry and developers. And staff noted that the proposed CDCN zoning district as condition limits the uses to urban farms, retail sales and service without drive-through facilities, except for stores selling tobacco and related products, cultural and community uses, parks and open area, and office and personal and professional services without drive-through facilities. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Can I ask one question? What is an urban farm? Does that include animals, chickens, pigs?
Yeah. So it could include certain livestock for the ordinance. It also could be the growth and sales of crops on the property as well.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Is the applicant here, and would they like to make any comments?
Good evening, Chair and council members, commissioners. I do have a presentation. I've asked staff not to pull it up. Of course, we can go through it if you have any questions.
Name and address, please.
I apologize. Ladidra Matthews, office address 101 South Tryon Street, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm here on behalf of Tom Terrell, my colleague, and on behalf of the applicant, of course.
Okay.
So again, I do have a presentation prepared, but want to be respectful of your time and the rocket docket. I'll just say that this rezoning will allow for infill development of an otherwise vacant lot on a multi-use corridor. Again, this is an urban farm under the UDO. Maybe livestock is allowed, but the applicant use is more intended to be akin to like a nursery. And I don't know if you all know, but I learned something interesting about this area while doing my research, and that's that Mr. Lindley himself, whom the neighborhood was named after, actually owned and operated several nurseries. So this is like a tip of the hat to Mr. Lindley. The applicant, Ms. Carrie Little, an owner of the LLC, she lives in the neighborhood. This is as local neighborhood business as you can get. She's worked with the neighborhood association in this area, collaborated with them very closely on the application. It has been recommended to be approved by staff and also by that neighborhood association. And we ask that you approve the request today. And again, we're available for any questions.
Any questions of Ms. Matthews?
Yes, so it was changed from an RM26 because no retail sales are allowed on that. Maybe I should ask
Staff, why this designation was, is that correct?
Yes, the RM26 district does not allow retail sales. Correct.
Okay. And then, so then the N doesn't talk about any kind of housing like single-family townhomes or anything like that. And they're not. That's originally it was going to be
Correct. Previously, it was
townhomes.
rezoned with the intention of developing residential. This request is to change it to limited scale retail activities.
Perfect. Thank you. I just needed that clarity. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Matthews.
Thank you all for your time.
Okay. There's 48 seconds left if anyone would like to speak. If not, we will close the public hearing without objection. Discussion? Motions?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for agenda item number Z25-12001 for 2204-2206 and 2214 Spring Garden Street. The Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its action to recommend approval of the rezoning request for the property at 2204-2206 and 2214 Spring Garden Street from CD-RM26 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 26 to CD-CN Conditional District Commercial Neighborhood to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 comprehensive plan and considers this action taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. Number one, the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan's future built form map and future land use map. Number two, the proposed CD-CN zoning district as conditioned permits uses that fits the context of the surrounding areas and limits negative impact on adjacent properties. Number three, the request is reasonable due to the size, physical conditions, and other attributes of the area. It will benefit the property owner and surrounding community, and approval is in public interest.
Stu Nichols, second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand, please.
Aye.
Thank you. That constitutes.
Did we get a vote?
How will we handle Betty? Does she have to vote separately?
I think just ask her, Ms. Turner, just voice vote. I think she did actually vote yes.
Ms. Turner, are you in agreement?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. So we have a unanimous approval on this, and this approval constitutes a final action unless an appeal is submitted in writing to the planning department and the appeal fee is paid within 10 days. Anyone may file such an appeal, and all such appeals will be subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting, and all adjoining property owners will be notified of any such appeal. Next case is 2011 South Holden Road and 2012 Cedar Fork. This is item Z25-12-003. This is a rezoning request from RM18 Residential Multifamily to CD-CM Conditional District Commercial Medium for the properties identified as 2011 South Holden Road and 2012 Cedar Fork Drive, generally described as east of South Holden Road and south of Isler Street, 1.31 acres.
Thank you,
Mr.
Tracy.
Carter.
Thank you. This is the zoning map of the subject property showing that it contains approximately 1.31 acres and is located east of South Holden Road and south of Isler Street. The surrounding zoning is RM18 to the north and the east, CDCM and CDCM to the south, and Office, CDCM, and RM18 to the west. This is the aerial map of the subject property showing that it currently contains multifamily dwellings. There are multifamily dwellings to the north and northeast. There's a single-family dwelling to the east in undeveloped land, and there is a special events facility to the south and a social service facility in undeveloped land to the west. This is the condition that was proposed by the applicant and advertised. And in recommending approval of this request, staff notes that the GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan designates this site as urban general on the future built form map and residential on the future land use map. The proposed rezoning request supports the GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan's growing economic competitiveness big idea to build a prosperous, resilient economy that creates equitable opportunities to succeed, and the filling in our framework big idea to arrange our land uses for where we live, work, attend school, shop, and enjoy our free time to create a more vibrant and livable Greensboro. The proposed CDCM zoning district limits uses to all uses permitted in the CM zoning district except all cemeteries, bus and rail terminals, eating and drinking establishments with drive-through facilities, dry cleaning pickup, drop-off, and drive-through facilities, or with drive-through facilities, taxi dispatch terminals, retail sales and service with drive-through facilities, and convenience stores with fuel pumps. And with that, I can answer any questions that you have.
Any questions of Mr. Carter? Thank you. Is the applicant here, and would they like to make any comments? I got a wave of we're good. Okay. With that, we will close the public hearing. Discussion? Motion?
Erica Glass. The Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its action to recommend the zoning request for the property at 2011 South Holden Road and 2012 Cedar Fork Drive from RM 18 Residential Multifamily 18 to CDCM Conditional District Commercial Medium to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan, and considers the action taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan's future built format and future land use map. The proposed CDCM zoning district as condition permits uses that fit the context of the surrounding area and limits negative impacts on adjacent properties. The request is reasonable due to the size, physical conditions, and other attributes of the area. It will benefit the property owner and surrounding community, and approval is in the public interest.
Commissioner Gilmore seconds.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Thank you. That's unanimous, 9-0. That constitutes final action unless an appeal is submitted in writing to the Planning Department and the appeal fee is paid within 10 days. Anyone may file such an appeal. All such appeals will be subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting, and all adjoining property owners will be notified of any such appeal. Next expedited a case involves an annexation and a rezoning. This is PL 2547 and Z 2512-004. It's an annexation and original zoning request from County Agricultural to City R3 Residential Single Family 3 for the property identified as a portion of 1169 Pleasant Ridge Road, generally described as west of Pleasant Ridge Road and north of West Market Street is 0.4 acres. Ms. Harrison.
Thank you, Chair Skeens. This is a zoning map, and it shows that the subject property contains approximately 0.4 acres and is located west of Pleasant Ridge Road and north of West Market Street. This is an annexation and original zoning request from County AG, Agricultural, to City R3, Residential Single Family 3. North and south of the request are zoned County Ag or AG, Agricultural, and City R3. East of the request is zoned City R3 and City CDLI, Conditional District, Light Industrial. West of the request is zoned County Ag. This is the aerial map, and it shows the subject property currently contains a single-family dwelling. North, south, and west of the request contain single-family dwellings. East of the request contains single-family dwellings and undeveloped land. There's no condition associated with this request, and in recommending approval, staff states that the GSO 2040 comprehensive plan designates this site as urban general on the future built form map and as residential on the future land use map. The proposed original zoning request supports both the comprehensive plans creating great places goal to expand Greensboro's citywide network of unique neighborhoods, offering residents of all walks of life a variety of quality housing choices, and the filling in of our framework big idea to arrange our land uses for where we live, work, attend school, shop, and enjoy our free time to create a more vibrant and livable Greensboro. The proposed R3 zoning district is primarily intended to accommodate low-density single-family detached residential development of up to 3 dwelling units per acre. The request permits uses that are present on adjacent tracts. And I can answer any question that you may have.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none. Is the applicant here, and would they like to make some comments? And you're fine. Then we will close the public hearing and open the for questions or motions from the commission.
I'd like to make a motion to annex PLP 25-47, a portion of Pleasant Ridge Road, 1169 Pleasant Ridge.
We need a second for the annexation.
Second, Stu Nichols.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the annexation. All in favor of the annexation, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. That was Ms. Turner. Thank you. Okay, that is a favorable recommendation on the annexation.
I'd like to make a motion.
But we need to move on to the other one.
Okay, so, all right, great. So, item Z 25-12-004, the Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its action to recommend the approval of the original zoning request for a property at a portion of 1169 Pleasant Ridge Road from County AG Agricultural to City R3 Residential Single Family 3 to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan and considers the action taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. 1, the request is consistent with the Comprehensive Plan's future build form map and future land use map. 2, the proposed City R3 zoning district permits uses that fits the context of the surrounding area and limits negative impact on the adjacent properties. 3, the request is reasonable due to the size and physical conditions and other attributes of the area. It will benefit the property owner and surrounding community, and approval is in the public interest.
Stu Nichols, I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request for the rezoning. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Nichols. That constitutes a favorable recommendation and is subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 2nd, 2026 City Council meeting. The next expedited case is Z-25-12-0.
Chair Skeens, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick. What you just said about the council meeting, I believe you said the January 2nd meeting. It should be the January 20th council meeting, just to be clear.
That's what it says right here, and I might have read it.
Okay,
It's
just
January
clarify
20th.
to make sure everybody knew. Okay.
Yeah, it's the January 20th. The second people are still recovering from New Year's Eve. So now we move to the next case. This is it. Next expedited case is Z-25-12-006. And it's a rezoning request from BP Business Park to CDLI, Conditional District Light Industrial, for the properties identified as a portion of 5440 and all of 5446 Millstream Road, generally described as south of Millstream Road and north of Mount Hope Church Road, 82.37 acres. Ms. Harrison.
Thanks, Chair Skeens. This is the zoning map for the subject properties, and it shows that they are approximately 82.37 acres and located south of Millstream Road and north of Mount Hope Church Road. This is a rezoning request from BP, Business Park, to CDLI, Conditional District, Light Industrial. North of the request is Zone County AG, Agricultural, and City BP, Business Park. East of the request is Zone CDLI, Conditional District, Light Industrial, and BP, Business Park. South of the request is Zone County Ag, Agricultural. West of the request is Zone City BP, Business Park, and City CDM, which is Conditional District, Commercial Medium. The aerial map shows that the subject property currently contains an office and outdoor storage. North of the request contains Interstate 40 and an office use. East of the request contains an office use and undeveloped land. South of the request contains single-family dwellings. West of the request contains an office use and undeveloped land. These are the conditions associated with the request. And in supporting approval, staff states that the GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plans Future Built Form Map designates the subject properties as urban general and as commercial on the future land use map. The proposed rezoning request supports the GSO 2040 comprehensive plans, filling in our framework goal to maintain inventory and market key underutilized sites and structures to private industry and developers, and the economic competitiveness big idea to increase and preserve the inventory of developer sites, developable sites compatible with corporate and industrial uses. The proposed CDLI zoning district allows a variety of warehouse, industrial distribution, and office uses that are generally consistent with the surrounding uses on adjacent or nearby properties, excluding cemeteries, shooting ranges, funeral homes and crematoriums, recycling processing centers, and land clearing and inert debris landfills, minor as a temporary use. And I can answer any question that you may have.
I'm just a little bit confused on one point. It says a portion of 5440, and when you look at the page with all of the people's addresses and so forth, that page, 5040 is the whole section, so I just don't know which portion we're bringing in. You see 5446 as a section.
So the portion that we're bringing in is what is shaded here. And this is already zone CDLI, this portion. So this is not part of the request.
So, okay, so the image that we're seeing in our book here is not the exact shape of the actual one. It's the A&T Road becomes the side of it, and the bottom of it is the Mount Hope Church. That's the portion.
So to help, the 5440, the larger parcel is all of that BP section except for that one building in the north east corner, and then the CDLI, all of that's one parcel. But portions of it have already been rezoned to CDLI, so they're actually asking to rezone the rest of the parcel now to CDLI.
Okay, so is it the pointy part on the south side, southeast area that we're talking about, or is it the bigger portion? Because I thought we did this once before, this location.
Well, right. So the CDLI on this map is the other portion of 5440 Millstream, and that was previously rezoned.
So, okay, because the images are different. The shape of the images that we're seeing here, where it's BP, is different than what's showing up on this page, where it's, and so I'm just asking, is it that part, or is it the pointy part that?
The last map that you have in there, that's the map that shows how we determine what the 750-foot distribution buffer is for our notices, and we have to send it from the entire property for notices, and so it is showing all of it on that map. And you're right, that is slightly different from the zoning map, because the zoning map is only showing the portion of that property that is currently BP and is requested to be rezoned. The other portion of the property that's not part of this request is already CDLI.
I got you. Thank you. Thank you for that clarity. Thank you.
Any other questions? Is the applicant here to speak to the case?
Good evening, Amanda Hodiern, 804 Green Valley Road, Suite 200 in Greensboro. And I'll just quickly speak to the question that Ms. Naggett asked, because you're right, we have sort of been here before. And I'm here tonight on behalf of the property owner and applicant, CCC Development Partners, LLC. So as staff has mentioned, this is a request to rezone the balance of the property. So looking at this map here, as your report and your information says, it's two properties. A portion of 5440 Millstream, that's that larger piece that is a portion of the bigger parcel. And then 5446, which is the smaller carved out piece there in the middle. And so how we got here is because in 2022, we did two separate cases to create the purple that you see here. Case number 1, up in the upper corner, to the right-hand side, we did that in October 2022, and then the number 2 that you see is a portion of 5440 that we did in November of 2022. So today's requests, indicated by the red stars, are the balance of 5440, and then that interior 5446, which was carved out of 5440 along the way, which actually is the reason we're doing this rezoning, so that we don't have to keep carving out interior parcels and can maintain an efficient, more campus and holistically designed type of center. And I'll be happy to answer any other questions.
Any other comments to be made? If not, we will close the public hearing and open it for discussion or motions regarding the case.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for agenda item number Z25-12006. All right. The Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes it is action to recommend approval of the rezoning request for the property at 5440 and 5446 Millstream Road. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm just winging this. Yes.
We're going to pull up here on the screen.
Thank you.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Wow.
And it went away.
There we go. Okay, the Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes there's action to recommend approval of the rezoning request for the property at a portion of 5440 and all of 5446 Millstream Road from BP Business Park to CDLI Conditional District Light Industrial to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 comprehensive plan, and considers the action taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. Number one, the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan's future built form map and future land use map. The proposed CDLI zoning district, as conditioned, permits uses that fit the context of the surrounding area and limits negative impact on adjacent properties. Number three, the request is reasonable due to the size, physical conditions, and other attributes of the area. It will benefit the property owner and surrounding community, and approval is in the public interest.
Commissioner Gilmer seconds.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Turner. That constitutes a unanimous final recommendation. This is a final action unless it is submitted in writing to the Planning Department and the appeal fee is paid within 10 days. Anyone may file such an appeal. All such appeals will be subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting, and all adjoining property owners will be notified of any such appeal. Moving on to the rest of our expedited agenda. Next is an annexation and a rezoning. Annexation PL 25-49 and rezoning 25-12-010. This is an annexation and original zoning request from County AG Agricultural to City PI Public and Institutional for the property identified as 4452 McConnell Road and a portion of the McConnell Road right-of-way, generally described as west of McConnell Road and north of Cassie Road, 7.33 acres. Ms. Harrison.
Thank you, Chair Skeens. This is the zoning map showing the subject property contains 7.33 acres. The subject property is located west of McConnell Road and north of Cassie Road. This is an annexation and original zoning request from County Ag to City PI, Public and Institutional. North and east of the request is zoned County Ag and PUD, Planned Unit Development. South of the request is zoned County Ag. West of the request are zoned County Ag. This is the area map, and it shows that the subject property is currently undeveloped, and north of the request contains single-family and multifamily dwellings. East of the request contains single-family dwellings. South and west of the request contains single-family dwelling and agricultural uses. There's no condition associated with this request, and in recommending approval, staff states that the comprehensive plan's future built form map currently designate this property as exurban and as residential on the future land use map. If annexed, the future built form designation will be changed to urban general. The proposed original zoning and rezoning request support both the comprehensive plans filling in our framework strategy to invest in building and maintaining quality, accessible public recreation centers, libraries, neighborhood park facilities, and other services to sustain livable neighborhoods, and the filling in of our framework big idea to arrange our land uses for where we live, work, attend school, shop, and enjoy our free time to create a more vibrant and livable Greensboro. The proposed PI zoning district is intended to accommodate mid and large-sized public, quasi-public and institutional uses which have a substantial land use impact or traffic generation potential. The PI zoning district also permits governmental uses such as fire stations that are complementary to uses existing in the surrounding areas. And I can answer any question that you may have.
Any questions of Ms. Harrison?
So this is City of Greensboro doing this, and this little section is being brought in for what purpose? I'm just trying to understand.
I'm going to let Mr. Gossett
All
from
right,
the fire department speak to
the
that.
applicant is going to speak to that question.
Thank you.
Good evening. Alex Gossett, Greensboro Fire Department, 1514 North Church Street. Currently, we are in the process of purchasing properties throughout inside our water sewer boundary for future growth. As the city develops, we'll have the property there ready to build a station to be determined. It may be 20, 30 years or maybe 5 years before it actually gets built, but that is our plan now with this property and the next property that we have on agenda, and we're still trying to acquire at least 3 more properties for the future.
Thank you. That helps. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this case? You have a minute and a half. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and move to discussion and/or motion from the commission.
I'll make a motion. Item Z 25-12-0.
This is annexation. We need
Oh,
an
I'm sorry.
annexation first.
Yeah.
An annexation first for PLP 25-49, 4452 McConnell Road, and a portion of the right-of-way.
Commissioner Gilmer, second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the annexation. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The item is Z 25-12-010. The Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its action to recommend approval of the original zoning request for the property at 4452 McConnell Road and a portion of the McConnell Road right-of-way from County AG Agricultural to City PI Public and Institutional to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan and considers the actions taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. 1, the request is consistent with the Comprehensive Plan's future build format and future land use map. 2, the proposed City PI zoning district permits uses that fit the context of the surrounding area and limits negative impacts on the adjacent properties. 3, the request is reasonable due to the size, physical conditions, and other attributes of the area. It will benefit the property owner and surrounding community, and approval is in the public interest.
Stu Nichols, second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the requested rezoning. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. This constitutes a favorable recommendation and is subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting. Next case, second verse. This is also an annexation, 2550, and then a rezoning for Z 2512-011. This is an annexation and original zoning request from County AG Agricultural to City PI Public and Institutional for the property identified as 3005, 3015, and 3025 Glass Road, generally described as east of Glass Road and south of Alamance Church Road, 10.49 acres. Ms. Harrison.
Thank you, Chair Skeens. So this is the zoning map for the subject properties, and it shows that it contained 10.49 acres. The subject properties are located east of Glass Road and south of Alamance Church Road. This is an annexation and original zoning request from County Ag to City PI, public and institutional. North, east, south, and west of the request are zoned County Ag. This is the aerial map for the subject properties, and it shows that it contains a single-family dwelling and undeveloped land. North of the request contains a single-family dwelling and undeveloped land. East of the request contains undeveloped land. South and west of the request contains single-family dwellings. There are no conditions associated with the request, and in recommended approval, the staff states that the GSO 20 comprehensive plan currently designates the property as urban on the future built form map and as residential on the future land use map. If annexed, the future built form designation will be changed to urban general. The proposed original zoning request supports both the comprehensive plans, filling in our framework strategy to invest in building and maintaining quality, accessible public recreation centers, libraries, neighborhood park facilities, and other services to sustain livable neighborhoods, and the filling in of our framework big idea to arrange our land uses for where we live, work, attend school, shop, and enjoy free time to create a more vibrant and livable Greensboro. The proposed PI zoning district is intended to accommodate mid and large-size public, quasi-public, and institutional uses which have a substantial land use impact on or traffic generation potential. The PI zoning district also permits governmental uses such as fire stations that are complementary to uses existing in the surrounding areas. And I can answer any questions. It's like the cases just before.
Any questions of Ms. Harrison? Seeing none, Mr. Gossett, would you like to speak to this? It's the same as this previous case. Okay. Any other comments to be made? If not, we'll close the public hearing and open the floor for discussions. And we need two motions on this, one for annexation and one for rezoning.
Stu Nichols, I move that with regard to PLP 2550, that property located at 3005, 3015, and 3025 Glass Road be annexed.
Second, Ms. Maggot.
We have a motion and a second to approve the annexation. All in favor, please say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Ms. Turner? Mr. Carter, is she on?
Ms. Turner, will you please turn your mic on?
Yes. Aye.
Thank you. That is approved. Can we have a motion now on the rezoning?
With regard to item Z25-12-11, the Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its action to recommend approval of the original zoning request for the property at 3005, 3015, and 3025 Glass Road from County AG, which is agricultural, to City PI, public and institutional, to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 comprehensive plan, and considers the action taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan's future built form map and future land use map. The proposed City PI zoning district permits uses that fit the context of the surrounding area and limits negative impact on adjacent properties. And finally, the request is reasonable due to the size, physical conditions, and other attributes of the area. It will benefit the property owner and surrounding community, and approval is in the public interest.
Second, Ms. Magid.
We have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. This constitutes a favorable recommendation and is subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting. Next case is Z 2512-012. This is a rezoning request from R3 Residential Single Family 3 to CD RM18 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 18 for the property identified as 600 Brigham Road, generally described as east of Brigham Road and west of North Carolina Highway 68, a total of 2.86 acres. Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Chair Skank. This is the zoning map of the subject property showing that it contains approximately 2.86 acres. The zoning request is to rezone the property from R3 to conditional district RM18. To the north of the request is CD RM18 and plan unit development containing undeveloped land and multifamily dwellings. North of the request, the CD RM18 is proposed to be developed in conjunction with the PUD to the north. To the east and the south are NC68 and the NC68 Cornerstone Drive Junction, Zone BP. To the west is CDLI with industrial uses and CDRM18, which is under construction. This is the condition that was proposed by the applicant and advertised for the request. And in recommending approval of this request, staff notes that the GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan designates this site as urban general on the future built form map. The future land use map designates the property as being within the Western Area Plan. The Western Area Plan designates the property as employment area. The recommendations for the Western Area Plan have recommendations envisioned under the plan have not been realized and do not match the recent development trends in the surrounding area. The proposed rezoning requests support the GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan's Creating Great Places goal to expand Greensboro's citywide network of unique neighborhoods, offering residents of all walks of life a variety of quality housing choices. The proposed CDRM18 zoning district as conditioned would allow residential uses that are compatible with existing uses in the surrounding area. And with that, I can answer any questions that you have.
Any questions, Mr. Carter?
Thank you.
Seeing none. Would the applicant like 2 minutes? That means no, correct? Okay. Seeing no needed comments, we will close the public hearing and open it up for discussion.
All right. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for agenda item number Z25-12-012. Yes, the Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its action to recommend approval of the rezoning request for the property at 600 Brigham Road from R3 Residential Single Family 3 to CDRM 18 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 18 to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan and considers the action taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. Number one, the request is consistent with the Comprehensive Plan's future built form map and future land use map. Number two, the proposed CDRM18 zoning district as condition permits uses that fit the context of the surrounding area and limits negative impacts on adjacent properties. Number three, the request is reasonable due to the size, physical conditions, and other attributes of the area. It will benefit the property owner and surrounding community, and approval is in the public interest.
Commissioner Gilman seconds.
Great. We have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning for 600 Brigham Road. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. This constitutes a final action unless an appeal is submitted in writing to the planning department and the appeal fee is paid within 10 days. Anyone may file such an appeal. All such appeals will be subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting. All adjoining property owners will be notified of any such appeal. Now we will move back to the beginning of our agenda to hear the cases that have opposition. This first case will be 2402 Liberty Road. This is item Z-25-12-005. It's a rezoning request from R5 Residential Single Family 5 to CDRM 18, Conditional District Residential Multifamily 18, for the property identified as 2402 Liberty Road, generally described as west of Liberty Road and south of Alamance Court, a total of 0.24 acres. Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Chair Skeens. As you stated, the subject property is approximately 0.24 acres and is located west of Liberty Road and south of Alamance Court. The request is to go from R5 Single Family Residential 5 to CDRM 18, Conditional District Residential Multifamily 18. North and east of the request are Zone CM, Commercial Medium. South and west of the request are Zone R5, Residential Single Family 5. The aerial map shows that the subject property is currently undeveloped land. North of the request contains a contractor's office. East of the request contains a religious assembly use and commercial parking. South of the request contains single-family dwellings. West of the request contains old U.S. Highway 421 right-of-way. This image shows the subject property as seen from Liberty Road. This image shows the contractor's office on Liberty Road, located north of the request, Zone CM. This image shows a religious assembly use located east of the request on Alamance Court, Zone CM. This image shows commercial parking located east of the request, Zone CM. This image shows a example of the single-family dwellings located south of the request on Liberty Road, Zone R5. And this image shows old U.S. Highway 421 right-of-way, Zone R5. This view is facing north on Liberty Road, so the property here is on the left. And this view is facing south on Liberty Road, so the property is on the right. This is the condition proposed by the applicant, and that was advertised associated with the request. And in recommending approval of the request, staff noted that the GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan's future build form map designates subject property as urban general and as commercial on the future land use map. The proposed rezoning request supports both the comprehensive plan's Creating Great Places goal to expand Greensboro's citywide network of unique neighborhoods, offering residents of all walks of life a variety of quality housing choices, and the filling in our framework big idea to arrange our land uses for where we live, work, attend school, shop, and enjoy our free time to create a more vibrant, livable Greensboro. The proposed CDRM 18 zoning district would allow residential uses that are compatible with the surrounding area with an appropriate proposed residential density. Care should be taken with respect to building orientation, building materials, building height, and visual buffers to ensure an appropriate transition to the lower density residential uses on adjacent properties. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Nelson?
So how binding is this where it says a duplex? So is that's part of it. So is that
so the condition runs with the property, so
Right.
it doesn't matter who the owner is on there. And so if approved, it would allow any of the uses listed in that condition.
So if they wanted to go beyond a duplex, they'd be violating that agreement?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're asking if they want to do like multifamily, larger
If they
scale.
want to put 3 or
right,
4,
couldn't
they
do it.
can't do it.
Right, they're just limited to 2 units, basically, on any of those configurations.
Thank you.
And just for clarification, in our documentation, it talked about RM18 being a total, could be 4.32 homes, but my understanding is that the width of this lot is going to limit it to a twin home or a duplex. It would be an attached product of no more than 2. Is that
Correct, right. Based on a general density count, you could get to that higher number, but based on the lot configuration, you're really only limited to 2 units maximum.
it's limited by the width of the lot?
Correct.
And that's why they had to go to the CDRM 18 again, because of the width of the lot. The R5, the R3 would require more frontage than is on this lot. Is that correct?
Well, there's two things. There's
Okay.
that question, but then also our single-family district wouldn't allow for a twin home or a duplex use. So this is
Right.
expanding the types of uses as well.
Okay. Any other questions?
So the RM18 shows for single-family, traditional home, and twin homes. Is the duplex on this as well?
It's in the zoning condition.
Doesn't say it on the dimensional requirement page. Okay. That's why I was questioning it.
Well, let's get that straight.
On this page, the dimensional requirement page, it says single-family, traditional home, and twin homes. And then it has the frontage, the side, the rear, and so forth. But
Okay.
I don't have the page in front of before that.
Yeah, well, then that's dimensional. That's the setbacks and other things specific for that. Obviously, the rest of that, the uses are in the first part of that section on there. But I think it's probably good to hear from the applicant and other folks at this point, unless there's other questions for staff.
Okay. First, we need to hear from the applicant, if they are here to tell us about the case and what they intend to do.
Yes, I am here, Derek McDowell. Good evening, City Council, Commission members.
It's online.
All right. They're online,
Yes,
Can you turn your volume up, sir? We
Yeah.
can't quite hear you.
and we need a name and address, please.
please bear with me. My name is Derek McDowell, 2404 Liberty Road, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
Mr. McDowell, this is Luke Carter with the Planning Department. I've asked you to turn on your video as well if you have that option.
Hope you all can hear me.
Okay.
You are-
Yes, we can see you and hear you.
So, good evening, council members. My name is Derek McDowell. I appreciate this opportunity to be before you this evening. And I want to thank you for your time and your continued service of Greensboro. I am the property owner and the applicant for the property located at 2402 Liberty Road. And I am here to request approval of rezoning from R5 residential to conditional district RM18. The purpose for this request is to allow a small-scale residential twin home development in a manner that is predictable, limited, and consistent with the city policy. Rather than pursuing a by-right zoning approach, I intentionally selected a conditional zoning district so that the city and the surrounding residents have a clear understanding of what is being purposed and enforce protection against further future changes. The proposed development consists of twin homes, meaning two attached residential units designed to resemble and function like traditional single-family homes. This is not an apartment complex, not student housing, not a high-density development. The scale, layout, and the appearance are residential in nature and are intended to blend into the existing neighborhood rather than alter its character. The project is designed to provide modest, long-term housing while maintaining a neighborhood-oriented appearance. I chose a conditional district RM18 zoning classification specifically because it provides the city with greater oversight and control than a standard by right zoning district. The approved condition legally restricts the property to the proposed residential use and prevent any future increase in intensity without another public process or a city council approval. I was going to keep you guys involved, so we would never do anything of that such. This ensures that the development cannot evolve into anything other than what's being presented tonight. In short, the zoning approach emphasizes accountability and transparency. This request is consistent with the GSO 2040 comprehensive plan, which encourages a range of housing options in locations that are already served by infrastructure and roadway access. The subject property is appropriate for residential infill development because it utilizes existing streets, utilities, and public services rather than extending development into undeveloped areas. I propose the project supports Greensboro long-term planning objectives while maintaining compatibility with the surrounding neighborhood. I understand that some nearby residents may have concerns related to the density, traffic, or neighborhood character. Those concerns are valid and deserve to be acknowledged. This proposal was intentionally designed to address some concerns. The twin home format limits density. It maintains a residential scale. It generates significantly less traffic than apartments or commercial uses. Additionally, conditional zoning provides legal limitations on further development, and no construction can occur without site plans approval. This ensures continued city oversight related to access, utilities, stormwater management, and safety standards. All infrastructure requirements, including utilities, traffic access, stormwater management, must meet city standards prior to any construction. Approval of the rezoning does not authorize development. It simply establishes the framework under which development may be reviewed and approved in the future. This ensures responsible growth that remains coordinated with city resources. The project represents responsible infill development. It adds housing in the appropriate location, makes efficient use of existing infrastructure. It does so with the enforceable limits that protect both city and surrounding residents. By utilizing conditional zoning, the city retains long-term control. Residents gain certainty and growth occurs in a measured and thoughtful manner. In closing, this rezoning request represents a balanced approach to growth. It aligns with the adopted city council, respects the surrounding residential community, and provides enforceable limitations through conditional zoning. For these reasons, I respectfully request your approval for the rezoning request, and thank you for your time and consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. McDowell?
Pardon?
Was there a community meeting? Could you talk to us about community outreach, please?
Yes, we did have we put together a Zoom. We sent out flyers to all the, I think, 39 residents in the area. We did have a Zoom meeting, and it was recorded. I submitted that to, I think, Mr. Lucas Carter, it was. And that was done on the 11th of December.
How many people were on the Zoom?
There's like 3 people. Didn't really get a big turnout, unfortunately. We did have one person who wanted to be at the meeting, but she did send an email that she could not make it because she thought the day was a different day when we had the meeting.
Hi, my name is Sheila. I did want to clarify. The people that were on the Zoom with myself and Derek and one other.
And you are, and your address is?
Hi, my name is Sheila Colas. I work alongside Derek to help him with his project. I'm his project manager. Okay. I just wanted to clarify about the Zoom, the attendees.
And Ms. Coles, what's your address for the record?
212 North Spring Street.
That's in Greensboro, right?
No, I'm in Winston. You want my address, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's 212 North Green in Greensboro.
212 North Spring Street, Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem. Okay. Thank
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Now, I just wanted to clarify that the people that were on the meeting was myself, Derek, and Juanita, but we all are working with Derek. There was one lady, her name is Cindy. She did send an email asking to send a Zoom link, but once she realized the date and the time, she said she sent an email saying she couldn't make it. Other than that, we haven't heard from anyone else.
No.
So, hey, this is Warshay. May I say something?
Of course.
So, hello. We appreciate you all applying. So I see the notes that we have here. It says no members of the public were present and no public comments were received. This was on Thursday, December the 11th, when the meeting was held. I guess my only inquiry is, when was the notification sent out to the neighbors regarding this meeting? Now, of course, the city does such, but I'm talking about regarding the applicant. Can you share with me?
We sent it out on Saturday, one second. Saturday the 6th.
Okay. Thank you for the information. Okay.
That included a Zoom link as well as information, very detailed flyer in regards to the property, picture of the home, and exactly what we're trying to do in regards to that particular address.
What did you say? I'm sorry, we could not understand. I think you need to speak further away from your microphone or closer, one or the other. Try further away from it. Can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. So we sent out a flyer that consisted of a picture of the home as well as a description of what it is we were trying to do in regards to the rezoning of the property. I think we submitted that to Mr. Carter.
And commission members, you have that in your packet as part of the communication summary. It's that last page he's referencing.
Did you have any calls besides the meeting? Were there any calls from your outreach notices that you sent out?
You saying that anyone? I did put my personal information there, so no one knows. No, ma'am. No one reached out to me at all.
No calls or emails, okay. The reason why we're questioning it is because there's a petition here with 29 names on it in the neighborhood.
No one reached out to us. The only person that reached out to us was Cindy, and if you'd like, I can forward you guys that email. I'm not sure how they have a petition without asking us any questions.
Because the people listed on this petition live on both sides of Liberty Road. They're all around this location. There's about maybe 4 locations out of the whole road that haven't signed on to this. So that's why I'm questioning. The Cindy that did get in touch with you, what was her last name? Excuse me. Just so that we...
Commissioner Glass, I apologize. I think I see you come forward with a question.
This is Erica Glass. What petition are you referring to? Because I don't think any of us have that.
It was emailed to us.
It was emailed to us.
Okay, gotcha.
That one, yes.
Is there a way to verify the signatures on the petition? Because how can they have so many signatures without reaching out to any of us?
Commissioner Maggot, if I may just jump in momentarily before you say anything further. I don't think we would have the opportunity to verify signatures on the spot, of course, right? We do have an encouragement of neighborhood communications in our ordinance, but we don't have anything stronger than that. I just want to remind the commission of that. And of course, I believe there are members of opposition, folks in opposition who are present, who we may want to hear from.
So. Thank you.
Okay, yes, and her last name is spelled Dittrich. Dittrich. And I'm sorry, her first name is Cynthia.
Yeah, that's the same name on the petition, so you did speak with her.
No, we didn't speak with her. She sent an email asking for the Zoom link. We sent it to her, and then she said, never mind, she couldn't join.
Okay, thank you for your clarity. Appreciate it.
Thank you. In a situation like this, what do we do now, next?
Well, we have to finish the public hearing first.
Okay.
Are there any other comments? You've got 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. Is there anyone else that wants to speak in favor of the request or give us any other information you might have?
I can say something. This particular project is to support the community, increase property values, support the community when it goes through reasonable housing costs. You know, we're going to be actually providing reasonable housing for the community, as well as increasing the property values. So it's kind of give you that caveat to what it is we're trying to do here, and to utilize the property that's just sitting there, a lot that's not being used.
Yes, I agree. This is actually to help the community. We're not trying to hurt the community in any way. A duplex, twin homes will actually add value and help with the shortage that is in Greensboro.
Okay, seeing none, and I see no other requests to speak in favor, we'll now move to anyone who wants to speak in opposition. And you'll have 10 minutes total.
My name is Philip Calloway. I live at 2514 Liberty Road, and I speak for a group of people on Liberty Road that is in opposition of this rezoning. I want to touch just a little on the notification of the Zoom. It was got postmark on the 9th. And we got it, or one person. I only know of one person that got it on Wednesday, and there was some people that got it on Thursday. And Thursday was the day of the Zoom call. Okay. A couple of people. Well, we all work. I mean, the people work. This is not a retirement facility here. We have jobs. So the husband and wife works, and there's multiple shifts that people work. So it's not like I can find out something at 6 o'clock in the evening, and I go and ask my boss if I can take off an hour at lunch to do a Zoom call. That's not the situation that we live in. There was a few people that tried to reach out. It was hard to make contact with them. I do know of one that did have some contact, but as far as I'm concerned, as far as I've been told, nobody saw it. Okay. The last time this applicant tried to change the zoning, having a public meeting was a little farce. So, with that said, we did not get notified. The procedures to get on the Zoom was not the easiest in the world. You had to, I think, email, and then they emailed you back, and then you entered it on an app, and then we just didn't have, it just didn't work for the few people that had it. But like I said, we found out by one resident on Wednesday evening, about 6 o'clock, that they received it through the mail, and the other person that received it on Thursday. My question is where did they mail 37 pieces of mail to? I have a question on that. Okay? Okay. All right, let me back up. I appreciate y'all listening to us because we in our opinion, we have a valid concern. We did do a petition. We did it, started before his supposedly Zoom call was provided because we stand in opposition of any rezoning of our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is an old neighborhood. It is over 100 years old. One of the oldest houses in our neighborhood was built in, I think, 1916. So we got people that are homeowners that have been living there for 47 years. It's not a real young neighborhood. It's established. The people that bought into our neighborhood, they bought into it because it was single family, because they wanted the buffer zone between our neighbors. In fact, quite a few people moved there out of condos and apartments because they did not want to be so close to people. So the selling point for anybody that I've talked to has been we wanted some space between us. Okay. We're in opposition of any zone changes. We've lived happily with the zoning in R5. We are. Okay. The petition stands volumes. I mean, 29 people out of the whole neighborhood. There's only like 5 houses we was unable to get any contact with because of how they work and how there's nobody home. Okay? I wish all 29 individuals that signed the petition was here, but they're not. But we do have a group of people that are here, and I want to ask them to stand. This is our neighborhood. Very diverse. I mean, you can't diversify anymore. You know what I mean? Okay, y'all can sit down now. I mean, this is our neighborhood. Okay. Our little neighborhood, as we know it, began around 1916. Every home is a single family dwelling. We bought our homes on this small piece of Liberty Road because it was and is a historically relevant single family residential community. We have, like I said, a very diverse group of people, with the majority of the homes being owner occupied. Some owners have been here for over 40 years. The person desiring to change our neighborhood, in my opinion, does not live in our neighborhood. I've never seen him in our neighborhood. Well, that's it. The site that he is trying to rezone is located in a sharp blind curve, and I'm not talking 90-degree curve. I'm talking about one that actually comes around and goes down. And it's part of Alamance Court Road, and Liberty Road. It is not on Alamance Church Road, which someone said in the past. There's concerns. We thought about bringing up safety concerns, which is valid in my opinion. But the bottom line is, if it was in the middle of the neighborhood, we still don't want any rezoning. We want to keep our single-family zoning. That is our request. the 2040 comprehensive plan, which everybody likes to use that, in my opinion, is better used in areas you can put more than 2 apartments in or townhomes in. And that's just my opinion and the general consensus of everybody else. It's just, are we going to spot zone to get 2 families here, 2 families here, 1 family here, 1 family here? Or are we going to make it where it's quality housing instead of just spot zoning, spot housing? I made a joke the other day, I might as well go get me 20 pallet houses and put them out behind my garage. I mean, you know, that's and that was a joke, okay? But it goes against, we don't want spot zoning. We're concerned that the zoning, 1 lot as a multifamily, will lead to the additional rezoning that would compromise and destabilize our single-family street that has remained as such for well over 100 years. It does not matter what the person wants to do or wants to change the zoning. Like I said, he could do it in the middle. If he lived in the middle of the neighborhood, he'd be trying to do the same thing. We're against any rezoning of our street, bottom line. But I noticed on some literature that the city sent out, which if my neighbor hadn't got a copy and photographed it and sent it to me by email or text, a lot of us wouldn't have never seen that, and that was the letter that the city sent out. Where did you send 37? I mean, where did you send 37 letters to? Oh, I never got one. But the guy across the street from me got one. How did he get it? But 5 houses down, they didn't get it. 5 houses down, they didn't get it. I mean, how do you, I don't know. That's a question. Okay.
I can answer that for you, sir.
Okay.
This time is up right now for the opposition. So now we will go to 5 minutes of rebuttal for the applicant. If you'd like to respond to any comments that you have heard or add any additional information, you have 5 minutes. Either Ms. Collis or Mr. McDowell. Ms. Collis, to be honest, we can hear you better, so you might be the one to speak so that we can hear what's being said.
Okay, thank you so much for the time. And what's the young gentleman's name that was just speaking?
Mr. Callaway.
Mr. Callaway, thank you so much for your input. I just want to let you know that we got the information for the addresses directly from the city. At first, they sent us a spreadsheet with all the addresses, and that's how we were able to mail out to everyone. We sent the letters in the mail Saturday. I'm not sure how come they didn't mail it out till the night. And I really do apologize for that, but that was something that was out of our control. As far as the area, it will be the same design. As you can see in the picture, that's how it would look. And it would blend in with the neighborhood. As far as you're concerned about the dangers, we wouldn't be putting the property in the front of the area because they have to have a driveway. So there would be some distance, and it would probably be in the middle of the property and not in the front. So even if there would be an accident, I don't think it would actually hit the home. As far as your concerns for not wanting any rezoning at all, what if somebody was to come and buy the property across the street that's already zoned out and build a duplex there? Also, what if people decided to build ADUs in the back of their homes? That still would be 2 units on one lot. My desire is not to ruffle any feathers, but just to get our perspective out there on the importance of the crisis that's going on in Greensboro right now. There's manufacturing companies coming in, trying to give jobs, but a lot of people, there's not enough housing. Excuse me. So, Derek, is there anything else you'd like to add? Or anyone else?
You all can hear me. You all hear me a little bit better?
Yes. Just speak up real loud.
Okay. In regards to the gentleman's concerns in regards to the property, where the property is located, right by the beginning point of Liberty Road, it's commercial there. You have Mr. Carter showed commercial buildings on adjacent to the property on both sides, on the left and the right, on the opposite side of the street. And so what we're not putting a commercial building there. We're putting a residential twin home that will support a family unit, 2 family units to be there. This is just to add more value as well as utilize the land that would be beneficial, as Mrs. Kohler said, for the housing crisis, the shortage of homes in the area, and again, utilize the land in itself. And just for you to know, I do own property on that street, and I do visit that street a lot. My son lives on that street. I'm there a lot with my son, with my children. So, so just for you all to know, I do have familiarity with the neighborhood. I have ownership in the neighborhood, and I do care about the neighborhood. It's one of the reasons why I want to add more value to the neighborhood.
You've got 1 minute and 28 seconds. Anything else you'd like to add during your rebuttal time?
Well, I would like to add in regards to, I don't know how it would negatively impact the neighborhood, but I do understand our position. I think everybody's concerns are valid. I'd like to hear more concerns that we can really kind of sink our teeth into and get a true understanding of what the true concern is. I really didn't, I'm not going to say I didn't hear it, but I really want to know what the true concerns are other than the idea of spot building, I guess, if you will. So again, this is not a commercial home. We're doing a residential home. We just got to change the zoning to build a twin home scenario there. So it will still be residential. It will still service members of the community in regards to housing for families. So it won't change any of that. It's going to add that. So it will probably increase your home value, I'm sure, maybe $10,000, $15,000 off the home for free. I don't know. But it will definitely add value to your home.
I just have a question. You're only planning to do 1 twin home, correct?
Yes, ma'am. 1 twin home.
Okay. And the reason why Mr. Callaway might not have received information is that he is outside of the circle. His property is outside of the circle of where the letters are sent.
Out of the 750-foot radius that the city's required to send to. So that's why one end of the street got the notice and the other street didn't, because you weren't within
cut right
the
in the middle.
750 range.
It cut right in the middle of that street instead of allowing for the entire street, because there's only 13 homes or 15 homes on each side of that street. So it kind of cut out 3, 6, 9, about 9 of them. So.
Got a question for the applicant. If I may, Assistant City Manager. Since there's so much opposition to this rezoning in this area, would you consider going back and working with the community to try to have some consistency on the best use for that property?
Yeah, I would love to have dialogue with them. I think that's one thing we were hoping for, to have a great turnout in regards to the Zoom call. We didn't want to do it in the cold because it just got cold snapping during that time. So we thought the Zoom call would be the best option to communicate with the community. So I would love to be able to talk to the community about what their concerns are primarily, and to know that we're not trying to bring extreme change to the community. We're not trying to buy up homes, knock down homes, and build these type of homes everywhere. But we all need to support the community. I love Greensboro. I love my community, and I would love to be able to support that community any way I could. And I'm thinking by bringing homes and development to that area, it would definitely support the community. It's time for change and growth. And I would love to be able to be the one to extend that change as well as growth, as well as have a dialogue with the community.
So, Mr. McDowell, much respect to you. We cannot understand what you said, but Mr. Peterson was asking if you would prefer a continuance to have greater conversation and dialogue with the community.
Yes. Hope you can hear me. You can see my face, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Terrific. Thank you. And how much time? How long for?
Well, I have a question. And I'm not sure if this is directed to the applicant or to staff, but there is no new zoning required if he were to build a primary home and an ADU. He would get his two properties, his two units out of that, and no rezoning would be necessary. Is that right?
Correct. He could do a principal single-family residential dwelling and then also do an accessory dwelling unit if it met the requirements of the ADU.
And the accessory dwelling unit would have to be 50% of the size of the principal unit.
It could be up to 50% of the principal residence.
And so I guess my question for the applicant is, why not do that and not have to have a continuous, not have to go through all this?
Because it wouldn't be as aesthetically pleasing, because if let's say for example we build a 2,400 square foot house, right? If the lot size could do that, building that behind it, we think that it would actually be an issue because of it would be an issue with the driveway. So if we do it a duplex, I mean, we can. That is our second option, but we would prefer the twin home because it would look nicer, and it would flow with the community.
This is Commissioner Erica Glass. I do apologize for interrupting the applicant's presentation, but with all due respect, I think this is the applicant's application, and our suggestions that they change significantly their plans would almost be overstepping our boundaries as a commission in terms of what is before us and what we shall consider, with all due respect. In addition, to suggest that this individual consider an option to continue when I think there's been some conversation that he's met that the requirements have been met to provide notice, although I understand the opposition, which everyone has a right to come to the meeting and voice their opinion. But if we're making certain applicants or an applicant follow rules that are not required, then how is that fair to the applicant? I understand we want to encourage this applicant to do all he can to be persuasive to us, but at what point do we say we're walking that fine line in terms of overstepping our boundaries as commissioners to encourage them to make, number one, changes to their application and request a continuance when they've met the requirements, at least from my perspective. And I'm asking this from our attorney.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Glass, thank you. Well, so first I would say that, if and when y'all are to reach the merits of the application, of course, you want to root your decision in the reasonableness factors that are laid out in our motions, right? Those are reflective of state statute on considerations for a rezoning. As far as the neighborhood communication piece goes, which I think may be animating some of the questions around the avenue to take of a possible continuance, again, our ordinance doesn't have more specific requirements that I could point to and say this is your foothold to go one way or another on an application independent of those reasonableness factors, right? That really needs to be what the decision is based on. It's for the board's purview to decide if they do think that there are reasons that an application may want to be continued, if an applicant has interest in doing so. But again, community communication is not a specific requirement of our ordinance, right?
Just my last question. In terms of the notification required by statute, that is for individuals within 750 feet of the land that's the subject of the application. Am I correct there?
So, any legal requirements laid out by statute or ordinance that are in relation to a notification area would be in relation to the city's notification of the fact that the rezoning is going to happen to the surrounding area. And 750 feet, yes, that is what our requirements lay out.
Okay, and that did happen in this case?
Yes, the city did make the required notice within that 750 foot. That's where the 37 number comes from. That's the number of properties from County GIS within that 750 foot radius that we mail notice to.
Thank you. Thank you for answering my question.
I've got a question for the attorney. Summary of neighborhood communication. Is this a policy or is this law?
We do have written into our ordinances something, and I'm going to summarize, and certainly if the zoning administrator, thinks I may have, if he may want to amend what I say, I'll certainly welcome that. But our ordinances do contemplate that whatever communication happens, we want to get a summary of that. We need to get a summary of that communication. The ordinance doesn't go further in requiring the neighborhood communication. It's just basically whatever communication occurs, summarize it for us.
Okay. Well, see, that's something that I've been saying since I've been back. I just have some concerns. We're overstepping with this. Thank you.
So I would like to add, thank you, Commissioner Glass and Commissioner Gilmer. I think the door was open for the continuance just to allow for more communication and understanding so there could be more collective buy-in. So that's why Commissioner Peterson mentioned that with respect to Commissioner Glass, and I do understand we don't want to overstep. We want this to be a city where business can be done. And I'm looking at our city council member right there, Council Member Black, and this is her district. So, I mean, ultimately, we serve at the pleasure of the city and the citizens as well. So that door was opened, and this would be a final action. So I digress.
All right, let's get back on track. We've got 22 seconds left.
Ms. Colas has raised her hand to speak online.
Yes, I thank you so much for your input. And if we don't have to do a continuation and we can get the proper votes, I would appreciate it because we really, really want the best for the community. And if you guys do not see any reason besides they just don't want a duplex there, I think you guys should really think about your community and the people that need housing.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the opposition has 5 minutes of rebuttal time if they would like it.
See, I knew his son was living there. I knew he doesn't live there. Okay? All right. We still stand the same. He is trying to tell us what would be best for our neighborhood when he himself knows what he tried to do about 8 or 10 years ago in our neighborhood, about putting a drug rehab facility in our neighborhood. And so he cannot tell me what our neighborhood needs. So it just I have no confidence in what he says because we went out and lied to last time. And another thing we'd like to bring up is, you know, it's been mentioned, it's been approved in beautification to the surrounding of the residential community. If you change it from anything, from R5 to the 18, you're taking away. You're taking away from our community. You're taking away from what we bought into. So I can't stress the fact that we do not want multiple housing in our community because that's not what we bought into. I mean, we like I said, we like our space. Now, like I said when I started this, I wanted to thank you for letting us have a voice. I appreciate everything. Again, thanks for the opportunity to let you know how deeply we object to any rezoning changes in our little community. It would really be bad if it changed. Talking about property taxes, it wouldn't raise anybody's property value, but it's his own. It wouldn't raise my property value. And his whole thing is about him. So I have when he states that it would be that house that was was put on the flyer. Nobody out here knows that for sure. That's just an idea of what they might want to build, what they would like to build. That isn't what's going to go on there. I just don't see why change the neighborhood for one non-resident. Even though he owns the house, his son lives there, he bought into the neighborhood knowing it was single house, single family housing. So my thing is we stand as we are. We do not want any changes in the zoning. We're afraid if we start changing it, the other outside people that own property on our street will jump on board, and then here we go again. So it's established, over 100 years old, and we are asking that you do not rezone any of our neighborhood. Any questions?
Any questions of Mr. Callaway?
Yes. Are you familiar with the accessory dwelling policy that we have in Greensboro now?
The accessory mean I can build my mother a place out behind my house?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, a single house would be nice down there on his lot. I mean, that's what we say. If he wants to build, put a single house down there. That stays within the zoning. No problem. We just don't think it should be rezoned.
What I was trying to say, do you understand that you familiar with the policy that we passed, I think, back in January or something, that you can build a house, but also you can have an accessory dwelling in the back up to 50%, so you could have two houses on the same lot?
Yeah, I know that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Two houses, not two more houses. You know. Any other question?
Well, the clock has stopped for some reason, but
I would love to respond if I could.
No, you cannot. We've already had the rebuttal from the applicant. We've got 44 seconds left for rebuttal from the opposition. Is there anything else you want to add, Mr. Callaway?
No. You know how the neighborhood stands. We've plainly said what we would expect that you do. You know, you're going to do what you're going to do, but we would expect that you would take us, in our consideration, 29 signatures. There's only 5 houses we didn't get signatures from. 1 didn't want to sign, and 4 was unable to find people at the right time of day. We went in daylight, we went at nighttime, but 5 of them did not. And I'd venture to say that 3 out of the 5.
Thank you, Mr. Callaway.
Thank you.
That finishes the presentation and the rebuttal, so we will close the public hearing. We have no objections to that. So it's now.
Commissioner Skeens, if I may. Well, go ahead, Clip. Sorry.
No,
I didn't want to interrupt you. I was just going to layer a little bit of context after all the comments were made. As I mentioned before, of course, decisions need to be rooted in those reasonableness factors that are on your motion sheet. Those are your land use considerations under state law. The one thing that did pop up in comments, of course, I want to always make sure the board understands we can't base a land use decision on who an applicant is, either favorably or disfavorably. So, again, just make sure any decision is rooted in your land use reasonableness factors.
Thank you for those thoughts. I open it up for discussion and comments. Or a motion. Mr. Peterson, here's.
Commissioner Keith Peterson, item Z-25-12-004.
Can I ask, is there anyone who would like to make any comments before we proceed with the motion?
I would like to make well, sir. I have a brief comment to make. Indeed, Walmart Neighborhood Market is in that area, is adjacent, is considered industrial in that sense. And the comment was made that zoning is, you don't want any type of zoning. Well, zoning is going to be inevitable in so many cases. We respect the neighborhood. We respect you all as well. I also thoroughly want to say, the communication factor did come into place, but it is not a land use factor. We just like communication with our neighbors, with the citizens. And then lastly, I will say, I'm going to say something good here, is that the schematic looks great. I do think it is a great idea. However, my support, I have no idea how I'm going to vote because I listen to all factors of this side of the story. But I will say thank you to the applicant for applying. We want to be a place where you can do business in the city of Greensboro. And I just yield back to my colleagues.
Mr. Gilmer.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. I remember, I think, this case years ago, and I think it was a brick house or something. I remember what the gentleman was talking about, I think. But when you have comments that say, well, we don't want any rezoning in the community, we want to stay as the same. I think all communities in Greensboro, sooner or later, there will be some kind of rezoning that'll be a little different in your neighborhood. So at this particular time, I think the applicants made a good presentation, and I think it was fair, and I understand the neighborhood too, but I would have to support this. Thank you. Because even if you postpone it, anything, if the neighbors don't want anything different, then you're going to come right back and have the same problem. So I'll be supporting it. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Turner, and I'm sorry I can't find the raised hand function, but may I speak?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm very much persuaded by what others on the commission have said, and I do feel in this discussion that we've come kind of far around from the purpose of the land use purpose, and I will be supporting this rezoning. Thank you.
I just have to say that we need housing in Greensboro, but I'm
very adamantly against this. I just think that this is not the solution that we're looking for. I think we're going too far from where we need to be. So I will be opposing this.
I'm going to make one comment, and I did, of course, drive down there and went around on 421, back around Alamance Church. And to Mr. Washay's point, there's a neighborhood market, there's a heating and air conditioning next door, there's commercial across the street, and you're talking about residential butting up against commercial, and what we've got here is a transition between the single family and the industrial and commercial. I'm not sure that that's. Let me rephrase that. I just think this is a good transition between the commercial and the industrial and the residential. It becomes a buffer, if you will. And so at this point, I will be supporting the request.
I'll be supporting the request application as well. And I just want to build on that slightly by saying that the people in opposition, Mr. Callaway said a couple of times, well, if this were in the middle of our neighborhood, we would still be opposed. But it's not in the middle of, to your point, Madam Chair, it's not in the middle of the neighborhood. It is right up against a commercial area that's zoned commercial. I understand your feelings about the neighborhood. It's charming. The houses are historic and they're beautiful. I get all of that. But Greensboro has a serious need to create more housing. And the other thing that I think is really critical here is we're talking about adding 2 families on a parcel which every parcel could already do, irrespective of rezoning. So that part of it is a little difficult for me to, it's difficult for me to understand why that reality, that current regulatory reality is triggering such a response. So for those reasons, I will support the applicant.
Okay, we need a motion.
All right. Commissioner Keith Peterson, item Z, -25-12-005, the Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its action to recommend approval of the rezoning request for the property at 2402 Liberty Road from R5 residential single family -5 to CD-RM-18 conditional residential multifamily 18 to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 comprehensive plan, and considers the action taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan, future built form map, and future land use map. The proposed CD-RM-18 zoning district as condition permits uses that fit the context of the surrounding area and limits negative impacts on adjacent properties. The request is reasonable due to the size, physical condition, and other attributes of the area, and it will benefit the property owner and surrounding community, and approval is in the public's interest.
Commissioner Gilman, seconds.
We have a motion and a second for approval on this case. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Is that unanimous?
Okay.
It was 8-1.
I believe we have a vote of 8-1 for approval. This constitutes a final action unless an appeal is submitted in writing to the planning department and the appeal fee is paid within 10 days. Anyone may file such an appeal. All such appeals will be subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting, and all adjoining property owners will be notified of any such appeal. And to clarify, that's that 750 range, so not everybody on the street will get a notice. All right, it is 7:35. We need to take a break for our closed captioning person. We'll be back in 20 minutes.
Recording stopped.
My name is Janita Chase.
And I am Hassan Pitts, and together we have been working underneath the moniker of SN for many years as interdisciplinary multimedia artists, sound, video, and everything else.
And we look forward to inviting you into the Grow residency from November 6th until December 15th. Well, we're trying to do an immersive video-based installation that we hope will connect largely with movement and remix a little bit of archival footage from the Greensboro History Museum and contemporary everyday Greensboro footage that we've been collecting for the last several months.
I think there's that duality of being able to like replicate reality, but then also be able to like play, manipulate, create with the lens, through the lens. That's always been particularly interesting.
You can find us online at signaltonoise.com, and we are Signal to Noise on Instagram as well.
"70 years ago, on this very day, on this very spot, history was made. We gather here to honor the Greensboro Six, courageous African-American men who, with a few swings of a golf club, changed the course of civil rights in America." Because I went back and looked at what it was like in 1955. There, throughout the South, segregation had its grips. There were whites-only signs on restaurants, theaters, and even at public golf courses like this. It was a time when Althea Gibson, a famous African-American woman athlete, was winning her role on the professional tennis circuit. Jackie Robinson had already integrated baseball, but there was a lot of pushback. And then there was African-American golfer Charlie Sifford, who was trying to get on the PGA Tour and play. But the PGA barred him because they had a clause that no African-Americans can compete in a PGA-sanctioned event. So it was a much different time. It was a time when a lot of people did not want to see blacks on this golf course. This golf course was whites only. And so a lot has changed in that time, but it was a tough time 70 years ago. And just to think what my father and the 5 others that stood with him, they were brave, because what they did and the result of what they did not only got them jail time and felony trespassing charges filed against them, but they had death threats. They had to worry about their employer keeping them on the job after finding out what they did. So the consequences were really serious from what their actions were, but they were determined to play for change, and that's what they did. Today, we expect, I will say a few words in honor of the Greensboro Six, tell the people who gather here a little bit about the story. Then we will have 6 golfers tee off in a ceremonial first hole shot here to recognize the Greensboro Six, the bravery that they showed, and how their actions help to transform this course into a place where people of all colors can play. And so each of these tee shots will represent each of the Greensboro Six and their drives for freedom.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
with flavors like cumin, sweet potato, hibiscus. These are not your typical frozen dessert flavors you'll find in every supermarket, but you will find them here. The idea was born thousands of miles away, but the product is made right here in Greensboro. All right, Chef Nat, where did the idea for Elica Treats come from?
It's from this desire to tell my story and build a community and create a community around me. Culinary really is not really my strength. I think that's more because of my background. Having a mom who's an amazing cook, so I grew up having everything that's really flavorful. And also my dad was a foodie even before foodie was a thing. Predominantly my flavors are Middle Eastern and Indian inspired flavors. I do have a very diverse multicultural taste palette myself, that I have some incorporation of few flavors that's representation of communities that I connect with or I belong to. As in, like right now, I'm a North Carolinian, so I have Carolina Peach Sonker, which is a peach-based non-dairy flavor. It has pancake bits in it, and it's me recreating Sonker from Surrey County. The flavors are all cardamom infused. That's what Elica means. Elica is cardamom. In my mother tongue, which is Malayalam, it's the language spoken in Kerala. That's my parents' home state in India. This is where I store all our ingredients because we actually try to source fresh produce from local sources itself, local suppliers, so hence our farmers. So I purchase them when they're in season and, stock them as much as possible. We have to be really creative with how much we package into complete finished packaging and how much we actually store it for later. Because there's also, as a wholesale business, you have to be prepared for recurring orders, and the only way to do that is to have something in stock rather than producing when you get the order, which is really highly expensive when you are a consumer packaged good business. I mean, we don't have a designated kitchen space where we have access to it anytime and every time as we please. I mean, this is very easy access, but still, we're renting it by the hour, so you have to factor those things in. These are our 3-ounce cups. So Suleimani sorbet, which is black tea with cardamom and lemon. It's literally a drink. It's a piping hot tea that we serve typically after a huge meal. And it's very prominent in the Muslim community itself, regardless which part of the Muslim community around the world. It's a Muslim culture to have black tea after a huge big feast to serve that to your guest. And so, I executed that tea as a sorbet. So this freezer started my journey here, really. And this is where we store now all of our 3-ounce cups and some of our gift packaging. I did launch Greensboro. That's an accelerator program by the chamber here in Greensboro. And at the end of the program, they granted me this freezer upon my request, to assist me with my distribution. I do love actually the fact that this business really challenges me in so many different ways, that it's always continuous problem solving, which I've always been good at, and that's something that actually keeps me interested. So kulfi is our best seller. That's considered traditional Indian ice cream. That's actually milk based with saffron, cardamom, and pistachio. And kulfi is literally the emperor of frozen desserts, hands down. So that's the only flavor that I did not create. But all the other flavors that we have are all my own creations. It's worth experiencing because traditional method of making ice cream is not really how I really execute my flavor. So when I say I have plantain ice cream, I mean plantain is literally the base of the ice flavor. It's not me just adding chunks of plantain or flavor of plantain.
You can find the sweet treats at local restaurants and some specialty stores, also online at elicatreats.com.
going to
Recording in progress.
back to order, please. All right, the next item on our agenda is Highway 68, 307, 309, and 309YY. And we've just been informed that there's been some conversation between the opposition and the applicant, and the opposition has withdrawn. So we are going to move this to an expedited process. So this is item Z 25-12-007. It's a rezoning request from R3 residential single family 3 and CM commercial medium to CD CM conditional district commercial medium for the properties identified as 307, 309, and 309YY, North Carolina Highway 68 South, 610, 614, and 616 Hickory Ridge Drive, generally described as east of North Carolina Highway 68 South and west of Hickory Ridge Drive, 5.73 acres. Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Chair Skanes. This is the zoning map of the subject property, showing that it is currently split zoned, or subject properties, split zoned R3 and commercial medium, and the rezoning request is to take it to conditional district commercial medium. So the north of the request are, those properties are zoned CM and R3, and that's undeveloped land in a single-family dwelling. To the east of the request is CDLI, and that is a contractor's office and undeveloped land. To the south of the request is a shopping center, zoned CDCM, and to the west of the request is a fairly wide portion of NC 68, zoned CM and R3. Across 68 is LI and R3 with overnight accommodations in LI and single-family dwellings in R3. These are the conditions that were proposed by the applicant and advertised in the notice. And in recommending approval of this request, staff notes that the comprehensive plan's future built form map currently designates the majority of the properties as planned industrial campus and a small portion as urban general. A small portion of the property is also within a district scale activity center. Future land use map designates the majority of the properties as industrial and a small portion as commercial. The proposed rezoning request supports the GSO 2040 comprehensive plans, filling in our framework big idea to arrange our land uses for where we live, work, attend school, shop, and enjoy our free time to create a more vibrant and livable Greensboro, and the growing economic competitiveness big idea to build a prosperous, resilient economy that creates equitable opportunities to succeed. The proposed CDCM zoning district, as conditioned, would limit permitted uses to office uses, overnight accommodations, and personal and professional services without drive-through facilities. The proposed uses are compatible with the general character of the area and its continued development trends. With that, I can answer any questions that you have.
Any questions of Mr. Carter? Okay, would the applicant like 2 minutes to elaborate on the request?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amanda Hodier, 804 Green Valley Road, Suite 200. I think staff well covered it, and the request is pretty straightforward, but I did just want to take a minute to thank you for your time, see if you did have any questions about how we got here from not having been on the expedited agenda previously, and I also wanted to acknowledge the applicant representative. I'm here on behalf of the record property owners, of course, but also on behalf of Mr. Kunal Dave. Thank you, sir. He's traveled to be with us here tonight. He is a veteran of the hospitality industry, other properties here in Greensboro, and with this request seeks to be a repeat corporate citizen here in Greensboro. So we certainly look forward to welcoming him, hopefully for another property here in Greensboro. And we're here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Ms. Hoderin? Very good. Without objection, we will then close the public hearing for discussion or a motion.
I'd like to make a motion. Item Z 25-12-007. The Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its actions to recommend approval of the rezoning request for the property at 307, 309, 309YY, North Carolina Highway 68 South, 610, 614, 616 Hickory Ridge Drive from R3 Residential Single Family 3 and CM Commercial Medium to CDCM Conditional District Commercial Medium to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan and considers the action taken to be reasonable in the public interest for the following reasons. 1, the request is consistent with the Comprehensive Plan's future build form map and future land use map. 2, the proposed CDCM zoning district as condition permits uses that fit the context of the surrounding area and limits negative impacts on the adjacent properties. 3, the request is reasonable due to the size, physical conditions, and other attributes of the area. It will benefit the property owner and the surrounding community, and approval is in the public interest.
Stu Nichols, I second.
Great. We have a motion and a second to approve the request. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That passes on a 9-0 vote, and this approval constitutes a final action unless an appeal is submitted in writing to the Planning Department and the appeal fee is paid within 10 days. Anyone may file such an appeal. All such appeals will be subject to the public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting, and all adjoining property owners will be notified of any such appeal. Next case. This will be this two items, an annexation and a rezoning. Annexation 2548 and rezoning Z 25-12-009. This is an annexation, original zoning, and a rezoning request from County RS40 Residential Single Family and City CDRM5 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 5 to City CDRM8 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 8 for the property described as 3800 Lewiston Road and 4544 Jessup Grove Road, generally described as east of Lewiston Road and north of Jessup Grove Road, a total of 9.06 acres. Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Chair Skeens. This is the zoning map of the subject property, showing that a portion of the property is already inside of the city in zone CDRM5, and that is 3.08 acres of the total. A portion of the property is currently in the county and zone County RS40, and the request is to annex that portion of the property and to consider original zoning to City Conditional District RM8. And the conditions for the RM8 would cover all of the subject properties that you see here. The north of the property is zoned County RS40, and east of the property is also County RS40 and City R3. South of the request is City R3, and west of the request contains some City R3 and County RS40. This is the aerial map of the subject property showing that it is currently undeveloped. North of the request contains single-family dwellings. East of the request is undeveloped land. South of the request contains religious assembly use and single-family dwellings. And west of the request contains single-family dwellings and agricultural use. This is the subject property as seen from Lewiston Road. This image shows a single-family dwelling located north of the request on Lewiston Road, zoned County RS40. This image shows the undeveloped lands located east of the request on Melissa Road, zoned County RS40. This image shows the religious assembly use that's located southeast of the request on Jessup Grove Road, zoned City R3. This is a single-family dwelling south of the request, zoned City R3. This image shows undeveloped land located south and east of the request, zoned County RS40. And this is an example of the single-family dwellings located south of the request zoned City R3. And this image shows a single-family dwelling located southwest of the request on South Lewiston Oaks Court, zoned City R3. This is the agricultural use that is located west of the request. There's a single-family dwelling to the back of the property that you can see on the left-hand side. And that is located west of the request on Lewiston Road, zoned County RS40. This is an example of the single-family dwellings located west of the request, zoned County RS40. This view is facing south on Lewiston Road. The subject property is on the left. This is facing north on Lewiston Road. The subject property is on the right. This is facing east on Jessup Grove Road. The subject property is on the left. This is west on Jessup Grove Road. The subject property is on the right. These are the conditions that were proposed by the applicant. And in recommending approval of this request, staff notes that the GSO 2040 comprehensive plan designates the site as urban general and ex-urban on the future built form map. If the request is approved, the ex-urban designation will be changed to urban general. The GSO 2040 future land use map designates this property as residential. The proposed original zoning request supports both the comprehensive plan's Creating Great Places goal to expand Greensboro's citywide network of unique neighborhoods offering residents of all walks of life a variety of quality housing choices, and the Building Community Connections goal to maintain stable, attractive, and healthy places to live and raise families. The CDRM8 zoning district, as conditioned, would permit a mix of residential housing types at a maximum unit count of 65 dwellings. The proposed uses are similar to existing uses in the surrounding area. And with that, I can answer any questions that you have.
If you go further out Lewiston on the left, there's some land being cleared. I couldn't tell what was going to go there. Is it apartments, townhomes, single-family homes, do you know? And is that in the city or is that in the county? I don't think you had a picture of it. It was a little bit further.
Yeah,
It's in the city.
there may
It's
have.
on the left-hand
Yeah, I think
side.
there was a recent rezoning in the last couple of years north of this request as well.
Do you know what kind of housing or what the zoning is?
I can't right off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. We're remembering multifamily, but our memories are not real good sometimes. Any other questions of Mr. Carter? All righty, is the applicant here to present the case?
I get to drive. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the Commission. My name is Mark Isaacson. My address is 804 Green Valley Road. And I know the hour's a little late, but I'll try to be brief, but I would like to address any questions that the Commission may have. So this property, or part of this property, as the staff indicated, came before this Commission and then Council a little over a year ago. And let's see. Is that right? Okay. So you've seen the conditions. Essentially, the upshot of that is no apartments here. This is limited to, and the intent here is townhomes. And by the way, my client is here. Alex Hale is one of the individuals who is with the entity that owns the property, has owned it for a little over a year. We did put a limit of 65 dwelling units. The intent here is townhomes, but we're advised that we probably will not get right at that number. It will come in a little bit lower than that. Let me get to some of the slides here. As you've seen, the property shaded in red is the property that was annexed and zoned a little over a year ago for townhomes. The property in the back is vacant land still in the county. At the time that we presented this to this commission and the council last year, we were under the impression that water and sewer were only available to the front part of the property to support townhomes, and that the remaining property would need to be left in the county and remaining for RS-40, or that is about 1 house per acre. Since then, and as sometimes happens with property development, our engineers and the city engineering and other staff have gotten together and determined that the rest of the property would support, with water and sewer, townhomes. And so we're back to apply or present to you the application for townhomes for the remaining property. Now, of course, this would mean annexing this property into the city, and so you all will be making a recommendation on that. I included this to show you a little bigger context of the area. And of course, the properties outlined in red at the top are the subject properties. The point here that I hope the commission will consider is that there are several examples of multifamily townhomes that are coexisting well with single family in this immediate area. And I think the reason for that is fairly straightforward. To the east, you'll see Prolific Park, you'll see Horseman Creek Road, you'll see the CDPI parcels. That's a new medical center, a medical facility that Atrium Wake Forest Baptist Health is developing. That will be a major healthcare facility for this area. There are other facilities and institutional uses. You'll see south of that the Carolyn Allen, Park and athletic complex. There are several educational institutions up and down Horseman Creek Road. We have a YMCA on Horseman Creek Road. So the city and other organizations have invested heavily in this corridor, and what typically follows from that kind of investment in infrastructure is different types of housing. And so here, I think the example is fairly clear that we have a number of mix of residential uses in this area that all utilize not only Horseman Creek Road, which is a 5-lane median divided thoroughfare, but also the educational, institutional, and other facilities that have developed along this important corridor. Here's an illustrative sketch plan, of course, for illustrative purposes only, that shows the layout, proposed layout of the townhomes. The access is proposed to be just on Jessup Grove Road, no access proposed on Lewiston Road. This has been reviewed by the staff in a preliminary review of this sketch plan, and I understand no red flags were found. So we're hoping to move forward, subject to, of course, to rezoning and annexation approval. I think the other important point is to consider is the amount of open space, green space, that's left remaining here. The property sort of dips down toward the north. That's the lower topography, and that's where the engineer has put the stormwater retention device, but has left a fair amount of open and green space here. And of course, under our ordinance, there will be a type C buffer along that northern line because we adjoin or will adjoin single-family zone property. Lastly, we did send out a letter to all the property owners within the radius per the city's notification list. We held a neighborhood meeting on Tuesday, December 2 at 5:30. A handful, say 6 or 7 folks, attended that meeting. I think there were some general concerns expressed, some questions, went over the proposed development here, and I think maybe a fair summary would be that we don't really like a lot more development in this area, but we understand that the city is growing, and so, of course, anyone who has a concern is certainly welcome to up here at this meeting or at the city council meeting next month when a final decision will be made. I believe that's it there. So in summary, I would commend to the commission the staff report, which does a very thorough job of going through the principles and concepts of our comprehensive plan. I think, as the staff indicates, this project checks a lot of the boxes in that plan and is supportive of it. This is consistent with development in the area, the mix of residential uses that I outlined, and the coexistence, I would say, of multifamily, that is townhomes, and single family, and the other investments that have been made in this area. Secondly, or thirdly, there, as we all know, have been a lot of announcements about economic developments, job creation in this area. Near the airport, that's become a real hub, obviously, over the years, now coming to fruition. And people generally want to live near where they work. And so to be able to get on Horseman Creek Road, get to the airport area, get to the outer loop, and get anywhere very quickly is a real plus. And so housing typically follows those areas of investment. And of course, we have a stated policy by our council to try to get to 10,000 units by 2030. This is a small dent in that number, but nevertheless an opportunity to sort of reinvent this property from where we landed about a year ago with just a part of it for townhomes. So sometimes the engineering works out in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. Here it did, and that's why we're back to present this phase 2 to the commission. With that, happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Any questions of Mr. Isaacson?
Do you know the answer to the question I asked Mr. Carter earlier? What that development a little bit further down?
Lewiston Road?
Yeah.
I happen to have been involved in that one. It is single family, I think single family detached. I can't remember the density level.
But it's in the city now, right?
It is in the city,
okay.
correct.
All right, thanks.
And just to follow up on that, that development is CDR7. So it was a single family 7 units per acre request, but the conditions might have put a unit count on it, but it was CDR7.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this case? There's a minute, 35 seconds left. If not, we'll move to opposition. If the opposition would like to speak to the merits of this case.
Chair Skeens, Sheila Blake is online. Chair Skeens, Sheila Blake is online. I'm waiting for her to unmute.
Okay.
She is not unmuted. We've requested Ms. Blake unmute, and she's not unmuted yet.
So we don't have a Ms. Blake.
She's not responding.
And is that the only opposition that we have, is Ms. Blake online who's not there? All righty then. Then we will handle this as an expedited case also, but we've already done 5 minutes. So we are now looking at discussions, motions. And on this one, we will have a recommendation for annexation on the Lewiston Road and then the rezoning on Lewiston and Jessup Grove.
I'd like to make a motion for the annexation of PLP 25-48. Did we close the public hearing?
Has the public hearing been closed?
We have not done that, so we will close the public hearing, and now we're ready for a motion.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to make an annexation motion for PLP 25-48, and the address is 3800 Lewiston Road, and 4544 Jessup Grove Road.
Second, Warshay Downing.
We have a motion and a second to approve the annexation 2548. All in favor, please raise your hand. Signify by saying aye.
Aye. And
Ms.
now-
Turner?
Is Ms. Turner still with us?
Yes, she said yes.
Did you hear? Okay. Very good.
And-
So that's approved. Now we go to
Motion.
the rezoning.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion for Z25-12-009. The Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its action to recommend approval of the original zoning request for the property at 3800 Lewiston Road and 4544 Jessup Grove Road from County RS 40 Residential Single Family and City CDRM 5 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 5 to City CDRM 8 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 8 to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan and considers the action taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. 1, the request is consistent with the Comprehensive Plan's future build format and future land use map. 2, the proposed City CDRM 8 zoning district as condition permits uses that fix the contents of the surrounding area and limits the negative impact on adjacent properties. 3, the request is reasonable due to the size, physical conditions, and other attributes of the area, and it will benefit the property owner and the surrounding community, and approval is in the public interest.
Commissioner Gilmore, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning of Lewiston Road and Jessup Grove. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That it passes on a 9-0 vote, and this constitutes a favorable recommendation and is subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting. We're now going into the next item, which is a text amendment.
Yes, good evening, members of the commission. So this is a pretty straightforward text amendment coming before the commission this evening, basically to help us continue to try to modernize the ordinance as uses develop and change over time. I think that's the bigger context here. Basically what it is that we have a category of uses, medical, dental, and related offices, that is part of our medical facilities use group in the ordinance. In some discussions we've had, because of the way these offices tend to work, they also make sense to be part of our general office use group as well, but they're not currently classified that way, so they're actually different categories of use at this point in time. I think that's partly is a leftover of the medical uses being mostly associated with larger institutional medical facilities like hospital campuses and such. But realistically, these offices often are in shopping centers or standalone buildings as well, so we feel it's appropriate that they should really be in both of those categories so that they're available to be used in the development process. So the requested text amendment before you this evening is basically that we are going to add the medical, dental, and related offices to our general office use group. It will stay with the medical facilities use group as well, so there's not any, no one's losing use rights. This will actually increase the potential for use rights for development in the city. And that's pretty much what we're asking for this evening, so I can answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Carter?
Or Mr. Kirkman.
Mr. Carter, that's right. He sat down.
I didn't want to put him on the spot.
Kirkman. Mr. Kirkman.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's shaking their head, so the answer is no.
All right. So this is an official amendment to the zoning ordinance. So I've got the statement of consistency that we also need to do as part of that if there's anyone who wants to make a motion.
Sure. I'll make the motion for this LDO text amendment, medical office text amendment. So the Greensboro Planning and Zoning Commission believes that its action to recommend approval of the text amendment request for the medical office text amendment to be consistent with the adopted GSO 2040 Comprehensive Plan and considers the action taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. Number one, the request is consistent with allowing development that supports the comprehensive plan's future built form map and future land use map. Number two, the text amendment better supports the Greensboro City Council strategic goal of being an easy place to do business, and also supports the goals of GSO 2040, the city's comprehensive plan, in creating great places and filling in our framework. And number three, the request is reasonable due to the fact that the proposed amendments provide administrative clarity for medical office use, etc.
Commissioner Peterson, second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to make a recommendation, a positive recommendation for this text amendment. All in favor, please raise your hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. This constitutes a favorable recommendation and is subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting. Next item is the Type 3 modification at Elmsley.
Thank you, Chair Skeens. So this is a request for the Planning and Zoning Commission to consider a Type 3 modification of an existing zoning condition for property on Callendale Road. The conditions that are on the property are shown here on the screen for you. Number 3 is the condition that's being considered this evening as far as the modification. For context, for those that may not be familiar with it, the modifications are somewhat administrative technical options that are available in the ordinance where you effectively are trying to meet the intent of a condition, but for whatever reason can't quite meet the letter of the law, if you will, or the exact application of that particular condition. And this will make sense here in a minute when I show you what's being requested. So basically the request coming before the commission tonight is to, as you see in condition 3, there's a condition that talks about a wrought iron and black aluminum fence that's supposed to go around the perimeter of the subject property. The applicant is requesting this modification to adjust the location of portions of that fence, basically to avoid a significant tree conservation area and not disturb that specific area. And there's also a easement on the property that they're trying to avoid and keeping out of. And our ordinance actually talks about not having permanent structures in easements, so it does meet some of the LPO standards as well. So just to kind of help people understand, this is the subject property on Callendale Road. It is a multifamily project. The outline in orange is if the condition is applied as it currently is written, that is where this fence would be required to go. The area that's shown in red is where the fence would go if this Type 3 modification is approved. And so I would note basically that the fence is still around the multifamily use, the main activity of the property, which is what the intent was with the condition originally. But as you can see, it would stay out of this significant tree conservation area, thereby eliminating, hopefully, or at least reducing the chance for damaging trees in that space, trying to put the fence in. And then there's also this utility easement here on the west. So that's effectively what bringing it in to the west. There's also an easement down to the south that they're trying to avoid as well, and so that's why they're asking for that request. Basically, the commission, in thinking this through, this did go through our technical review committee for evaluation as well. Modification has one of 3 reasons why you can grant the modification, that either being equal or better performance relative to what the standard of the condition is being considered, if there is something where it's in conflict with other state or federal regulations, or if there is some type of unique site constraint that makes it difficult or impossible in some cases to actually apply it as written. In this case, the Technical Review Committee did review it. They feel like this is an equal or better. Again, you're going to be able to limit the potential for negative impacts to a tree conservation area and ensure that this fence does not interfere with utility easements that are on the property. So at this point, I'll be happy to answer any questions, or we can take a motion. I'm sorry, one more thing. In approving the TRC looked at it, they did ask for one condition, so when you make the motion, it's with this condition from the TRC.
And this is a straight motion, and is it final?
Correct, yes. And this is considered a technical matter before the commission, so there's no public comments.
Any questions of Mr. Kirkman? All right. we're looking for a motion. Yes. All right, we're getting punchy here. We've only got one more case. Let's roll.
So is there a motion? I'm sorry.
Who's making the motion?
Commissioner Keith Peterson, I make a motion.
Thank you.
PLP-25-52 Type 3 modification.
Second.
You need to incorporate.
Right, the modification with the associated condition from the Technical Review Committee.
With the additional proposed conditions of approval of Technical Review Committee as shown on the proposed plan. Provide a gate of adequate size, 12 feet, to allow equipment to access the outlet barrier, and this dissipator pad.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve with the added TRC condition. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. This constitutes a final action unless an appeal is submitted in writing to the planning department and the appeal fee is paid within 10 days. Anyone may file such an appeal. All such appeals will be subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting, and any adjoining property owners will be notified of any such appeal. Now, last item is a street closure.
I'm trying to get to where I can pull that up.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I think this map shows what is happening with the street closure request a little better than some of the other ones that we had. Thank you. So, as you see, we have a street closure request for a portion of Brass Eagle Loop from its intersection with Fleming Road to the approximately the top of Bank on the northwestern side of Brush Creek. And a portion of Long Valley Road from its intersection with Brass Eagle Loop extending northward approximately 640 feet. As you know, or as you may remember, the property kind of on the inside of this curve here, or this intersection, was annexed and rezoned several years ago for residential development. In looking at that, the developer determined, and along with the city, that it was unreasonable to develop with the current road pattern, and so they are proposing to close these portions of streets and redo the road network in this area, basically. So with that, the applicant and the city have agreed on certain portions of the right-of-way going to each. So what you see in blue would go to the developer. What you see in orange would go back to the city of Greensboro. The city of Greensboro is the landowner of the property that is south of Brass Eagle Loop and on the east of Long Valley Road. So that is why the city would get ownership of that right-of-way upon approval. There's also a portion, there's a little triangle on Fleming Road, or right at Fleming Road and Brass Eagle Loop. That is Mr. and Mrs. Nelson who own that property, and since they have road frontage along it, at that point they would get a portion of that right-of-way to the center line. So you will notice that certain aspects of the conditions incorporate those agreements. Also with this, there is a trailhead on Long Valley Road that the city maintains and emergency services uses to access, or for access for people who are on the trail and make emergency services calls, 911 calls. And so you will notice condition number 3, as proposed by the Technical Review Committee, addresses continued access to that trailhead. So not all of the adjacent property owners were signatories on the street closure petition, but more than 51% were, so it is a valid petition. The street closure, the petition did not include the Nelsons. They were notified in accordance with general statutes. So in making a street closure request decision, you have to make two determinations. One, that closing the street to vehicular traffic is not contrary to public interest, and two, that no property owner in the vicinity is deprived of reasonable means of ingress and egress. The Technical Review Committee recommended approval of the proposed street closure request at their December 5th, 2025 meeting with the following conditions. One, the street closure is not final until a plat is recorded showing the areas within the right-of-way being combined with adjacent landowners substantially in compliance with this map. And two, that Long Valley shall be extended to connect to Fleming Road, subject to the Greensboro Department of Transportation approval, and you'll see that represented on this map as well. And then that number three, access from Fleming Road to the existing trailhead on Long Valley shall be maintained for emergency services. The developer shall dedicate an emergency services access easement to the city of Greensboro over the existing pavement of Brass Eagle Loop and Long Valley Road sufficient for emergency services access to the trailhead as generally shown on the attached map. And with that, I can answer any questions that you have.
Is what's written on your staff report, that the way that is
That's
written, that would be okay to read that and then add these three conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I would like to make a motion regarding the street closure PLP 25-53, consideration of a street closure request for a portion of Brass Eagle Loop from its intersection with Fleming Road to its intersection with Long Valley Road and a portion of Long Valley Road from its intersection with Brass Eagle Loop extending northward approximately 650 feet, with three conditions. Number one, the street closure is not final until a plat is recorded showing the area within the right-of-way being combined with adjacent properties. Two, the Long Valley Road shall be extended to connect to Fleming Road, subject to Greensboro Department of Transportation approval. Three, the access from Fleming Road to the existing trailhead on Long Valley Road shall be maintained for emergency services. The developer shall dedicate an emergency service access easement to the city over the existing pavement of the Brass Eagle Loop and the Long Valley Road, sufficient for emergency services access to the trailhead, as generally shown on the attached exhibit we have now looked at and reviewed.
Ted Oliver, second.
We have a motion and a second on the road closure. One quick question. Are road closures subject to appeals?
This is a recommendation only. It goes to City Council for final approval.
This is a recommendation. That answers that question.
Genuine
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. This constitutes a favorable recommendation and is subject to a public hearing at the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting. Any items from the Planning Department you would like to impart to us?
Just want to remind the commission that our January meeting is going to be on a Wednesday, January the 21st, so make sure you got that on your calendar. We do have a number of items on that agenda as well, so thank you in advance for your time with that, and happy holidays to everybody here and watching at home.
And Madam Chair, may I add something as well? This is a point of appreciation. I want to, of course, we know we have new city council members, so welcome to our new city council members and returning. But I also want to take this time to thank Dr. Goldie Wells for her impact and legacy. She's retired from city council spent more than a decade on city council collectively representing District 2. And I was appointed to this commission because of her. So I bid her many blessings and much appreciation for her leadership and service. And I look forward to working with Councilwoman Cecile Crawford as well, who has big ideas. And she was here earlier with Councilwoman Black. I also wish to highlight the impact of former council member Sharon Hightower and her work in District 1, whom I also work with, and I bid her bountiful blessings as well. Looking forward to working with Councilwoman Black. As all of us, we're looking forward to working with the collective, but I do want to give that appreciation. I was always taught to give honor to whom honor is due. So I do want to say thank you, and to the city council, to our commissioners, and to our new mayor as well. We're working together, and I appreciate all of you.
I'd like to just add to that City Councilwoman Nancy Hoffman, who has gone off District 4 after 14 years of service in the city, and I think that there are a few people here that are here because she suggested that whoever was the city council member who represented us should appoint us. So in addition to Sharon, who we will miss, and also Goldie. And we're looking forward to Adam Marshall replacing her in wonderful stead. And we've left out Cece Crawford, who is new, and of course Mary Kay Abuzier, our new mayor. And who else do we leave out? We left someone else out. Oh, Irving Allen at large. Is that everyone? I think we. So we're looking forward to.
I like to leave on a laugh. Who idea was it on this type text amendment to say 55 and older was elderly?
You may blame the United States government for that definition. That is where that comes from.
And after tonight, every minute gets on the road. I would like to ask, so that everyone will know and be prepared, the January agenda at this point.
It is currently 8 requests. Just Gaines.
Just 8? All right.
And thank you, Chair Skanes, for ending our year in such a delightful way with candy, and Andrew with lovely cookies. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Mr. Nelson.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Very good. Thank y'all.